Carolyn, here to share another channeled message from the Light Keepers, a group of angelic beings I channel for your awakening and ascension journey support. So today we're going to continue the theme. This is a March energy update. It's the theme of walking toward that mountain. And this time they've really given the visuals to me. And it was actually after the channel, as I was going through it and getting it ready to actually read, that all these visuals started coming in. So I hope I do this justice for you. And it's talking about what we're going to see in the times to come. Now, as you know, they speak poetically and metaphorically, and they'll give visuals. So just as we continue along the theme of climbing the mountain or traveling to the mountain, they start expanding upon that. And remember, this journey is gradual, but boy, we're making some progress. And the energies are actually supporting us. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about what you can expect in March, but also really getting this bigger picture view, kind of like the movie they always give us. And it's just, like the sequel of the one that you saw before. So if you haven't seen some of the other energy updates previously, I think you'll be fine just listening to this without those, but you can always go back and listen to the last, I would say, 2, 3, or 4. You'd be fine. Anyway, so we're continuing along the theme of traveling up the mountain, and then they do talk about summer, and that's where they've taken me to this point. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Carolyn. I'm a channel, I'm a distance energy healer, and I'm a spiritual awakening mentor. And I offer these channels from the Light Keepers, a group of angelic beings, for your awakening and ascension journey support. So below in the description box, check out the link that takes you to a free video on how to create flow in your body for health and wellness. But ultimately what it does is it takes you to an email list where you'll get a Light Keeper channel each week for the week coming up. So join me there if you'd like more channeled messages. Additionally, and I always forget to mention this, I have a Facebook page, Purple Rain Healing, where I put most of my poems. And so I think you would really enjoy that. I do that a couple times a week, Purple Rain Healing on Facebook. So as usual, I'm going to go ahead and read the channel. Most of everything you need is in here. But I am going to, as usual, make a couple of comments afterwards. So really, if you can kind of think about the fact that we are in the spring equinox, or coming up, I should say, to the spring equinox. And for many of us, we are moving into the spring of our times for this year. I realize others of you are not, and you're going into fall, but this all still fits for you. But we're going to be using the spring equinox as a theme in here as well, spring in general. So what I really want you to think about as you listen to this is, what seeds are you planting now? What are you doing now to bloom in the summer? So the seeds you plant now. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. So I'm going to go ahead and read the channel and make a few comments. Here we go. Bright light you are, shining like a star. You are here to be the everlast and more. For it is the gate that is at your door. You will see it as it comes to you, bright and shining for you to travel through too, as the equinox comes in your way. This is the march of all days. The march to the top of the peak you'll find. All of you are going at the same time. Some of you conscious, others are not. Awakened at last you are. You no longer find yourself lost. Traveling along the width of time, narrow it seems, and long you'll find some days are shorter and longer too. Just know that we have your back in everything that you do. For you have traveled this journey so far, a long way you have come, and from the stars. And now you see the first steps out of the gate we find. For yes, you are marching to the mountain of all time. Stripped down you'll find, no longer feeling heavy in time. And yes, you shall continue to lighten your load always. For humankind, over the eons, has collected so much that you are heavy in your day. If you could just see where you were at one time, and now you have come down to the 3D we find. For it was all from the days of antiquity, where, oh yes, humankind lost their way, shattered and destroyed, to begin again new. For yes, you had to undo what you had done to you. And many of you have come in from the light of all time, blazing like a star, to incarnate at this time. often not having lived many lives here, but now you have come in to help so dear. And then we find the others too are newer, the young ones. You find it too. You see it in their eyes, and you feel it in time. Blazing from the stars and through the skies into the earth to awaken up in a younger day. Full of new cells and energy too. No one will take them down like it has been in the past, we say. But you on earth, all we say who've been here for more than a day, have been readjusted and upgraded too. For you feel it in your cells and changed to a lighter state of grace. And as you do your work, you continue to let go of what you have done in the past and what has been done to you, we find. Coming out of the chasm of all time. You lighten your load, and as you go up the mountain, we find change and shift is coming in time. And yet it seems slow, but time catches up to you today. For as you put out things you wish for, some things come quickly, but others manifest slower, we say too. So now what you see has been wished for a long time, shaken and quaked in your boots, for it feels like everything around you is shattered and coming down in your way. You will find new structures are rising at the grass roots too. You will see them in the corners where the light does not shine. Individuals who are building something new in time. And yes, the cracks and crevices in the constructs and processes and systems that are antiquated in your day. The foundation is cracking. You will see it, and you will wonder what to do. But no worries, for you understand the light of all time is coming from you. And oh yes, the skies. You are on the march of all time, the climb to the mountain. For yes, you will shift in timeline. Again, you will see it happen. Everyone follows in their own time. Choices will be made, and individuals too will choose how to get to the mountain and climb further up it too. The peak of which you will reach, to each in their own, one day, and then you look back across the chasm to the other mountain peak across the way. But then you must travel down the other side, which you will do, and you'll see by the middle of summer, change will come to thee, and all around in the collective too. But right now, your due is to continue to work on you, focused on the inside, not outside, forever and a day. For the march of your times will feel long sometimes too, but the lighter grace of this month is stripping down further. For at times you will feel you have lifted up into the skies and you are floating away, feeling better than you ever have. And then the next day you will be hit with something, blindside. But this is the process that you will go through to the spring of your days. For the new growth and the bloom will come from the difficulties of struggling through the dirt and the muck. For you know how the flower grows, in many of them, from the depths of all days. For there is always new growth in the new year, the spring of your days, for it is time for the blossom in you. For many will travel the times, coming up from the earth, and it will be time to begin the blossoming of humankind in your way. An entirely new hope will be found with the flowers that you see in front of you. For these are your comrades, other souls, who are with you in time, all across the earth. Do not leave ever anyone behind, for all are going through their own journey, and no one is better or worse than you. For when you understand this, you will see the light of the grace shining in their eyes in their day. For it is about love that you find inside first for yourself, and then you give to the others in time. For what you find within yourself too is all that you can give to others. But when you grant yourself the greatest love of all time, by giving yourself grace and working in your own way, you offer this to the others in the collective, and they shine even brighter because you worked on you. So as you travel this march of all times, know that you'll be walking hard ground at times, and yet at other times the green grass will be growing in your day, and soon you will see sprouting too, leaves of beauty and color for you. For the ground will be littered of those who have come before you in your day. For yes, others have come this way too, and now you will reclaim it. For the collective, it is their due. We are here supporting you by your side. Just keep marching through the greatest of times. You will see and feel the things that you know that you need to do. The next mountain peak is arising, we say. For you are climbing this one right now in your day. And you will see the other one far and wide, other peaks that you will begin to climb too. But every peak that you climb, you ascend even more in your time. So know that the peaks that you see far and wide will offer you a new advance forward. More will be coming and traveling with you in your day. For each peak you encountered as you march up, you will see a new grace in your day. A new vision will come your way. You will see broader and further and farther and understand the greater of how you will participate. So take each day as it comes. Build in for yourself what you feel in time of learning and lessons. Do not look too far out in your day, for we give you these notions of what is to come. For what is built is within you each day in time. So center yourself and begin planting the seeds that you wish to see sprouted, then bloomed in the summer of you. We leave you in light and love this day, now and forevermore. The Light Keepers. So we have, and they said this, and now they're saying it again, you have advanced, they said. You have advanced. And I wish I could show you the visual, because in the last months, it was just kind of us and some other people, and we were heavy with our clothing. That's all that karmic stuff and all that work we're doing that we were shedding. And then the last time they showed us without all those heavy winter clothes, but we're still going through the snow, right? And we're going up the mountain. Well, this time, and I hope I can make this visual accurate. So if you've ever seen Black Panther, I think it was Black Panther, or it might have been Endgame. And I'm sorry to mention Marvel movies, but they use Marvel movies a lot. I think it was Endgame and also Black Panther, but where there was just a massive amount of, warrior-like beings, all the beings coming in to fight, right? And this is what they're showing now. But it's a march forward. Everyone's joined now, okay? So this is a much broader visual they're showing me. And what they're also showing, and this is so interesting, it's much more complex now. The battlefield, I'm just going to use it like that, because it's kind of turned into a battlefield, but it's not the kind of battlefield we think of in humankind. So try to keep that in mind. This is more of a divine light battlefield, in that as we envision the Endgame or Black Panther visual of them all marching forward to the fight, it's not about killing someone else, okay? And this is about battling the things within you and your journey that you've brought forward, but everybody's there doing it, if that makes sense. So when someone is attacked from the side, which they're showing, or taking a different path, and they're not going toward the mountain, and then they get ambushed, they just said ambushed, this is our stuff we're doing to ourselves, okay? A lot of it is our stuff. I don't want to say doing to ourselves, that we're clearing. That's the battle we're in. And again, it's not, we don't want you to think of it in the sense of, I have to fight hard within myself. No, you allow ease and grace. But they're using this as a metaphor so you can understand what's going on. So we're confronted with things we have to clear, to work on. And it is very apparent to me that it's even more important now to just focus on what you got going on in here. Okay, what you got going on in front of you. Not this overthinking, externalizing in the world. Yeah, you're going to see what's happening out there, but you can't get sucked into it, okay? Because it's going to get even more, they just said power hungry. To keep you from climbing the mountain. So what you've got in the battlefield scenario that I'm giving, and if you haven't seen Endgame or Black Panther when they make their advance, I would just say go look at a picture of it. But it's all different beings, all different ways of fighting the battle, but it's everybody in our world, in the human journey of awakening ascension. It's our own battle, if that makes sense, because sometimes it does feel like a battle, right? Plus, one other thing I want to mention is along this journey, as we're going now, and we're actually climbing this mountain, we planted those seeds, right? there's so many more with us now. They're taking their own path. They're showing a lot of armor and, doing this kind of thing and battling. That's our stuff coming up through us, okay? Coming up through us to work on. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've also run into some folks who are battling, and don't go looking for this if you're not feeling it, because it's not everybody. But light workers are at a stage now where the lower light or the dark is really in battle to pull us down. I've had a few people who are experiencing, I literally could write a small book about their story, which is so fascinating, where they're actually experiencing people showing up in their journey who are of the lower light or of the dark, and they're here to pull them down. And I've had some people for an instant get pulled down and go, whoa, what was that? Well, it's the dark or the lower light showing up in human beings. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you. I'm just saying I most assuredly have had this happen lately. In fact, 2 people just in the last few days are like, whoa, what's this? And now working toward clearing that, because you can clear those with assistance. So just know that what we're seeing on this battlefield visual they're giving me is all kinds of approaches to keeping us from our light. But the thing is, as you work on yourself, right, and you do the work, you do self-care, and you do all the things that we've talked about, your march is going to continue forward up that mountain. We know that we're confronted with all these kinds of things daily, but what's happening is we're planting these seeds now as we're going. Okay, so what they're showing is, all right, I'm just going to go with what they're showing me. Okay, God, this is so interesting. So they're showing us going up the mountain, right? We're summiting, going up. Are we summiting? Okay. And they're showing coming out of this, and this is like, I swear, this is like Renaissance time or I don't know, antiquity. It feels so Avengers-like. Anyway, pulling out seeds from our pocket, and we're dropping them as we go, okay? Oh, they just said flowers for others to come. Oh, to find their way. That's it. The light workers, that's what we're doing. So there you go. You see this. So we're throwing out seeds that get planted as we leave. So we show a pathway to the top of the mountain, because we're clearing space for the rest of the collective coming. Remember that. So here we go up this mountaintop, dropping seeds. They're going to bloom in the summertime. And then what they've said here is we also see what was left behind from antiquity. When we were in the higher dimensions, we still see some of that. We're going to start seeing some of that. And we're like, oh, there's our ancestors. There's parts of what they left behind, maybe like a wilted flower, right? So we're able to see that. But then we keep planting more seeds as we go, so that the rest of the collective behind us says, oh, I know what path to follow. Now they're all going to have their own stuff to deal with, just like we have, but we're going forward first. No wonder they're showing us as the front line. And we know that, but what they're showing is this visual is then going up the mountain. And part of this is kind of new in that what they're showing is, okay, they said many will take a different pathway, for they have to encounter their own learnings and lessons. Okay, it's embattled in their own way. Yes. So the point is we all have our own pathway to the top of that mountain. Everyone will get there in their own time, is what they're showing. God, I wish I could draw this picture for you guys. And many pathways will be tread, they're saying, for those to follow, because we will help make their journey simpler. They will still have their own to deal with, but in the march of all times, we are really marching up that mountain. And as we get, and the equinox is key to this. It's kind of like the tip of the mountain, because we're going to shift timelines again, okay? I don't know if that all happens at once. Oh, they just said, no, you find your way. When the collective timeline shifts, oh, they said you then find your own individual equilibrium. Many don't even know it has happened. Those of you who are on this awakening journey most often understand what has occurred, right? Okay, so let's see if I can remember where I was. Okay, so we're going up the mountain. We've left the seeds behind for the flowers. But here's what's new. Well, part of what's new in this channel is we get to the top of the mountain. Now remember, they showed us coming down the other side. We're still going to be doing that, right? Because you got to go to the next mountain. And now this time they're showing all these other mountain peaks showing up. So basically what's happening is we're going up to the top, letting go of some of our stuff, reaching a new ascension point, all right? They just said it's where it really begins. This is the time where it really begins, the sending of humankind. Oh God, no wonder they've just started giving the mountain as the visuals for me and the metaphors and the journey. I mean, on a regular basis. And then the thing is, what we will see, okay, that every mountain that we climb makes it easier to ascend the next, they just said. So then what we see is we see in the far off distance or near distance other mountain tops, mountain peaks. Before we only saw the one, right? Well, now we have clearer vision, all right? We're going to have clearer vision. I don't know what that means literally day to day, but just, stick with me here. And then as we see those mountains, they're showing various mountain peaks, again, covered with snow, because the snow is a metaphor for, kind of some of the tough stuff we have to go through. But then we'll keep shedding all of our clothing, our layers that we take with us, which is all that work we do, that inner work we do, not listening to the outside world. Because remember, that's not, we're recreating. Okay, that's bye-bye. All those constructs, processes, systems, I talked about it again. They're crumbling, all right? So you don't want to get humanly freaked out when you start feeling like the whole world's crashing down. Remember, this is going to take time. And in the meantime, we got a whole bunch of people building new. We could talk all day long about that happening. It's a grassroots effort. And you probably could name half a dozen of those things that you see now that are happening that are going to create or be part of creating our new earth. So as we, as light workers, keep moving forward to that next mountaintop, we see afar and we're like, okay, we got to that one. All right, let's go. And then we come down and they showed the avalanche. I think you remember in the past videos. And they keep talking about it like April, end of spring. I don't know, springish, end of spring. It's definitely after the equinox. I don't know if that's the timeline shift and we just go, woof, and we have to recollect ourselves. Okay, they just said it is and it isn't. Okay, it's like what we have to do is, they just said gather ourselves up again because we've reached a certain point. It's almost like a stepped approach, if that makes sense. So these mountains that we're seeing, it's like we go up to this one mountain, we get there and then we go, it's like kind of 2 steps forward, 1 back, but we go back down and then the next mountain's higher is what they're showing. And then we keep going to these mountains and keep climbing them higher and higher. And that's the ascension is what they're talking about. Those are their metaphors they're trying to use for us. But along the way, we're going to encounter, they just said slings of arrows. Yeah. Embattled ways. But the difference right now is this is the spring of our times. The March of all times is what they're talking about. We're planting seeds. There's something very different about March, okay? Going into the equinox. After that, they just said all bets are off. Everything changes from here. You will see how it unfolds. Remember, this is a process. Not an overnight sensation. That's pretty funny. Although big things will occur, you know how that works. Something big happens, and then you reach an equilibrium state to balance out and be able to recollect yourself to again advance forward. Okay. In fact, I haven't done this yet. I'm going to go look at part of Endgame again and Black Panther and look at that. In fact, it's kind of funny. Some of you might remember this where, I don't know if I ever said this, but I was probably, when did Endgame come out? I don't know, 2 years ago? I don't know. Anyway, I had never been a Marvel movie fan at all. Oh no, I wanted to see Endgame. And somebody said to me, well, you got to watch the other movies first. I go, why? They go, there are a lot of them. I said, oh God. So, Endgame was here for a while. So anyway, I went out, Googled, what movies do I need to see before I watch Endgame? So they gave me 6 that I needed to watch. Well, I was so obsessed with them. I watched every Marvel movie ever made of the recent ones, right? Last, 10 years? I don't know how long it's been. Anyway, I was supposed to know this. Because that's this journey in many ways. They're using lots of metaphors. in that embattlement that we're in. Okay, because remember, we have a lot going on, but it's all an inner job. Okay, it's inside job. If you can just keep that in mind, if you just work on yourself and you continue to focus on the things that come your way, you don't ignore your emotions and feelings. You understand that you're going to have things welling up in you continually. You're also going to have outside forces, pretty strong at times, is what they're showing. Or they just said, trying to stop you in your tracks. So I'm just, and again, I'm not trying to scare you because frankly, I have no fear. I don't think there is anything to fear ever. I really believe that. Now, granted, it doesn't mean I haven't gone through fear, but with all this is all just kind of, you know what? I'm just going to do my thing and I'm not going to fear anything. I'm taken care of. So if we can have that kind of understanding, but do the right thing for ourselves in the meantime, not just be flippant about it, realize there's lower light out there, realize there's dark, okay, that has to feed off of us to survive. Well, that you're going to get poked at and prodded and arrows slung at, and you may find some of your own demons coming up, okay? But remember, deal with it, center yourself, don't freak out, don't have fear. Even if you're clearing, just like say a past life as an example, or you're clearing something with a relationship in this life, just stay strong. Do your self-care, do your inner work. Know that, call on your angels and guides. This is the march forward of all time. We are in a place right now where I really feel this next month. Wow, they're really showing this next month. Really is going to set the path for the way forward. And frankly, that's what they show on here, right? We're planting the seeds now because everything's going to start blooming in summer. And I don't know what all is coming from there, but needless to say, this is all good news. This is part of the journey. We have to go through the tough stuff, but then like they said, we'll have a place where we get equilibrium. I think I mentioned that in my video last time, is we get resting time, okay? For me, last week, totally resting time. I had 4 days. And then the full moon day was a nightmare. But 4 days of feeling, honestly, I guess I have to say, kind of like I did, and this is going to sound like, well, you mean you wish you wouldn't have awakened? Before I awakened, I was like this. I never felt these extreme emotions and all that, and the sensitivity. I do now. So I felt like that. I was like, wow, that's what it used to feel like. But I was numb, and I was shut down to all this, and I just was living a life, right? So now we're really coming into the core of who we are to be able to work on this stuff. Because if we're not sensitive to this, we're not going to be able to work on this and clear it out, right? So that's why we get opened up. Not to mention, we are cellularly changing to a lighter state, a lighter grace, as you know. So I'm going to finish here because I could probably go on and on. I hope you've gotten something from this. This is the march of all times. Think of it like that. Think of it as planting seeds as you move forward for the summer, the blooming, the blossoming. You're going to continue to grow. Plus, you're planting the seeds for the others to follow. All right? We're up the mountain. We're going up that mountain. Here we are. We're going to be at the peak pretty soon, which I'm pretty sure is the equinox. So just take it in, breathe, do your work, center yourself, take care of yourself. And thank you so much for joining me today. As I always do, I'm going to leave you with my services, purplerainhealing.com, where I will channel your own journey for you. And I will help you through your spiritual awakening mentoring. Plus, I do distance energy healing for you as well. Check out my services. I would love to work with you. They are powerful one-on-one sessions and help you through your awakening and ascension journey. Thank you so much again for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.